Hi everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination Reading for the sign of Taurus. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. So that's exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's reading. We're going to be looking at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time. Now, keep in mind that these readings are general, so please only take what resonates. And sometimes I do find that when I myself personally watch other readers, that they may bring up themes or an event from the past in the reading that is meant to be brought into your experience now to either integrate a lesson from the past or just to bring something forward into your attention or up to your attention. So keep that in mind in this reading. It might pertain to something that's going on now, or it might pertain to something that has happened in the past and is needing to be addressed again. All right, so we are looking at what your soul most wants to illuminate for you at this time, Taurus, is a sense of rest and rejuvenation and reflection. There is a feeling coming through with the Four of Swords that there are wounds that need to be released so that you can move forward with a clarity of truth, a clarity of communication, and a clarity of thought. Now, what you're sitting with currently is the Six of Pentacles, which actually is a card that harnesses the energy of Taurus. It represents, I think it's Jupiter and Taurus. I can't quite remember, but it is a card that harnesses the energy of Taurus. So it speaks to balance in the physical. There's a sense of reciprocity. There's a sense of having enough of either time, energy, or money. It also speaks to the divine law of give and take in general, the balance that happens, meaning that at any given point in our life, we might be on the giving side of things, and at another point in our life, we might be on the receiving. And there's a sense that the wheel kind of turns over and things balance out as we go through our life, and we have to kind of roll with how things change in the physical. But there does seem to be a sense of coming to a place of personal stability and balance. So there may be something that you've recently addressed in your life that's allowed for something to, again, kind of become more balanced, or for a level of reciprocity to occur that maybe had not been there otherwise. Now, at the bottom of the deck, Taurus, we have this is your main underlying energy here. It's the Seven of Swords. And that's a card of avoidance. It's one where we're trying not to see something, or we're trying to get away with something. We're trying to ask ourselves, is it worth it for us to do this? Is it worth it for us to not do this? And underneath the Seven of Swords, we have the Knight of Pentacles and we have the Two of Wands. So there seems to have been a decision for many of you in the recent past to have gone in a new direction, in a specific direction. That's what the Two of Wands speaks to. Kind of coming to that fork in the road and choosing a way forward. And with the Knight of Pentacles, there is that sense of having a forward vision from that point, maybe having a plan, having a step-by-step action planned to enact. And for some of you, one of two things is going on with the Seven of Swords here. Either A, you are not following through on that plan, or B, you are avoiding creating that step-by-step plan. So when we make that decision to go in a specific way, or sometimes the Two of Wands can speak to doing something differently, like it's asking ourselves, where do I go from here, or how can I choose to act in a different way, and therein create a new path for myself. And there might be something here where for some of you, there again was the opportunity to choose a new way, an opportunity to do something differently, and it might have been a commitment. It might have involved a plan, and either A, you don't want to commit to that plan, or again, B, there's a sense of maybe not wanting to create that plan. Now, there might be something here to be said with the Four of Swords out here, because again, this is what your spirit is illuminating for you at this time, is what is coming through when you sit and reflect. what is coming through when you give yourself that time for meditation or that time, just quiet time for the self? What is coming up as far as maybe wounding from the past, heartbreak, pain? And how is that not allowing you to have clarity as to maybe the plan that you would like to enact, or the clarity as to how to speak clearly about what you are choosing to move forward with? So I'm going to pull some additional cards here. So let's take a look. I'm working with a couple different decks. I'm kind of going back and forth. I use the old ones with Virgo's reading, but I'm going to use the new ones with you guys. I just feel like there's a sense of the energy shifting as we move into Scorpio season, and these cards are a little lighter, a little brighter, kind of helping us find the way through the kind of emotional depths that Scorpio drags us into. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups and the Four of Cups as your main point of challenge around this area of focus that your soul is highlighting for you. So the Knight of Cups really speaks to, sorry, I'm going to just finish this up and we'll get into this. So the Knight of Cups speaks to the individual who is the hopeful romantic. This is the person who's going out there with curiosity, with a sense of optimism, and they're holding their cup ready to share it openly with others. And what's in that cup is the love of themselves, all their needs, their hopes, their dreams. It's the vulnerability that is our emotional vulnerability. And the knight is ready to go out there with that sense of optimism to share his cup with others. And with the Four of Cups coming in on the other side, there's a sense for some of you, I think, that there's a feeling of wanting to do that. I get that feeling, Taurus, very much. You want to go out there and connect with others. You want to share of yourself vulnerably. And yet there's a sense as you kind of go out there of a disconnection between wanting to go out and share of yourself and not realizing that you're not really connecting to your cup, because the Four of Cups speaks to a level of disconnection on the emotional plane from our experience, meaning that we feel like we are the kind of the outsider looking in. Now, this can be where we feel like we're the one who's always kind of on the outside of social situations, because that's what the Three of Cups can speak to: celebrations, gatherings, community, tribe. And we might feel like we're sitting on the other side of that. It can also be where we're looking at all aspects of our life outside of ourselves, our job, our family, our home life, our hobbies, and we're just like, none of it's doing it for me. I'm not connecting. And yet the card reminds us, with the cup floating here off to this individual's side, that he's missing because he's so focused on what he's not able to be a part of, or he's so focused on what's not emotionally fulfilling, he forgets about his own cup. Meaning that either A, he feels like an outsider looking in because he's not actually bringing his authentic, vulnerable self to certain situations, or B, there's a level of forgetting your own needs and dreams that need to be met, and that emotional connection and emotional fulfillment come from within first. We can't be satisfied emotionally from external things. We have to first understand our emotional connection to those things through understanding, again, what our needs are and what our dreams are, what our hopes are, and all of that kind of stuff in our life experience that allows us to emotionally connect, meaning especially to the feelings of joy and fulfillment and true intimate connection with others. Now, how this can be a block and a challenge, especially around this area of reflection, there's a sense here of, for some of you, you might have gone through something very difficult. The Three of Swords does speak to heartbreak. It can speak to wounding. It can speak to going through difficult times. And there's a sense of where the mental plane, like where we can kind of, these are like the ghosts of the past. They keep kind of playing themselves in our mind's eye. And when we go to have this feeling of wanting to connect with others, we might have this sense of an overlay almost of, it's almost like somebody having a projector up on the other side of your eyes, and you're seeing you're trying to look out and see the world and see who you can connect with and get into that state of optimism. And yet there's like this overlay, this projector on the inside of your brain, of your mind, kind of projecting the pain of the past. And that might be where you feel like this. It's hard when we're disconnected mentally, to then be able to feel into something emotionally. So there's a sense of kind of having to work through that. And that's why the Four of Swords is what your soul is illuminating for you. It says it's time to really look at what those fears are around intimate connection and going out there optimistically, based on the pain of the past, based on failures, based on, people who broke up with you, based on family trauma, whatever it is, so that you can find the true clarity of what you're seeing, so that you can allow yourself to really start to see where maybe you've been ignoring something on the emotional plane. And why do I say that? Because at the heart of your reading, we have the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is a difficult one, because if you see here in the Four of Cups, the individual is looking at the cups upright, the Three Cups. Now, in this image, the Three Cups are now spilled. And the Five of Cups, when they're, it speaks to disappointment. It speaks to something that was emotionally, you were hoping maybe for a celebratory experience, you were hoping to find tribe, you were hoping to find community, and it didn't work out. And so the individual is here really kind of focused on the pain of that. Now, the card also always has the Two Cups upright behind the individual to represent that even though the individual is looking at the Three Cups that have spilled, in reality, there's still two upright cups behind him, meaning that there is still someone there who is there to support you. There's still a level of intimate connection, which is what the Two of Cups card represents. It's a level of, it's a reciprocal relationship. So this could be like where we're really focused on, again, something that didn't work out for us. This could be where maybe we lost a community or a friend group, and yet there was that one person who had your back the whole time. Or there was a new way to connect with others, and yet you're focused on maybe only the one thing that didn't work out. So this is really what Spirit is asking you to embrace, to help you get past this block of not allowing yourself to kind of go out on that romantic adventure again. And it doesn't mean that it has to be romantic in the sense of looking for love. It means falling back in love with the life experience, so that you don't feel emotionally disconnected or on the outside of it. So there's a sense of really having to face something that did not come about in the way that you were hoping, or something that was, again, emotionally disappointing, and to really see if you can put that pain kind of in the past, to get, again, that sort of truth and clarity here. Because then on the other side of it, what's waiting to come in for you is the potential. Now, it may seem a little kind of crazy at first, because we have the Five of Wands and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, the Five of Wands, I think, did come up in your last reading as well, Taurus, possibly even in the one before that. So there's a feeling here of kind of having to get back out there again, having to kind of get back on the horse. The Five of Wands can speak to competition. It can speak to having to kind of test a skill set among others who are also doing the same. It can speak to, I always say, getting back out on the horse when you haven't, maybe been out there doing something in a while. It can also speak to kind of chaos and too many people's opinions getting into the mix. But for you, Taurus, I really feel that more than anything, that there's been a time of, this has been a time of reflection, possibly mourning for some of you. Something, again, did not happen in the way that you were hoping, or was, made you very sad. And it brought a level of disconnection between you and your life experience. And it's saying it's time now to face that wound. You're strong enough to do so. And you're ready to get back out there. You're ready to share something of yourself. And you're ready to kind of see, you're ready to take a few licks to see what you're made of. And that could be joining dating apps. That could be putting your resume out there again to see what comes in. This could be picking up a hobby you haven't tried in a long time. This could be just going to a networking group to meet new people. But the Wheel of Fortune coming in here says the time is now. It states that the opportunities are now. The wheel is turned and there's a sense of forward momentum or movement. I often see this card as it can be a timing card for sure, but I do feel more than anything right now that this is an opportunity card, meaning that if you're willing to reconnect with your cup, if you're willing to really allow yourself to be vulnerable and to get to that place of the Knight of Cups, the optimism. The optimism right now for you is buried under two very difficult cards, and which is the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups. But it could also be buried underneath the Three of Swords, which is an even more painful card. So there's a sense here of, in order to release or unleash this beautiful, optimistic, heartfelt individual to go on his adventure, you have to put yourself back out there again. And that's where the opportunity is waiting to come in for you. And it could even be the opportunity to bring a certain level of balance to your physical experience that maybe you've been waiting for. Maybe you're sitting here in the Six of Pentacles going, how come I want to be able to receive the return on my investment for all the time I put into something. And it's saying, well, you might see that here, but you first have to have the courage to go back out there again. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we have a beautiful card. We have Six of Wands. This is a card of success. It's a card of being seen and recognized for a job well done or for your efforts. So there is a sense here that you are being seen by others in a successful light, but you yourself might not be allowing yourself to kind of honor that. It also says, though, too, that if you have the chance to kind of go back out there and shake off the dust or the rust with the Five of Wands, that there's a very much with the opportunity coming in here, you will be recognized for something that you do well. This could be like being too afraid to go out there into a new work environment. And so you get out there, you have the courage to be like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to just see what I'm worth on the open market, or I'm just going to take this new job and see what happens. And you might take this new job and people in this new work environment are like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. You're just what the doctor ordered. We've been looking for someone like you. Or maybe in your last place of work, it was the opposite. Maybe that's where the Three of Cups came, or, the Five of Cups came in. Maybe you have been kind of dissatisfied for a long time. And then maybe it was just emotionally disappointing. Maybe you got written up by your manager, or there was a change in management and suddenly you were working for someone who was not nice to you. I mean, there could definitely be those kinds of situations. It could also be where you were let go from a job and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to allow myself to pour that amount of myself into anything again. And this is saying, but you might be able to find another place that sees you for the true value that you have, but you have to commit to unlocking that optimism from within. And that will bring in the balance that maybe has not been in your life for some time, or maybe you felt like you were overworked and underpaid. Now, this could be in your love life as well, where for some of you, it might be that, again, you maybe were in a relationship that was not fulfilling, and then you broke up with the person or they broke up with you, and you have not dated since then. And this is saying, but there's a sense here of getting ready to do so. And in order to do that, you got to put yourself out there. And there's a sense that once you do, you might meet the love of your life, or people who are like, oh my gosh, I know someone, I'd love to connect you with them. We just were waiting for you to say, give us the green light. Yeah, we have the Three of Pentacles. So I'm going to pull some clarifiers here. Ace of Swords. So there's that Ace of Swords with the Ace of Pentacles. There's a clarity on a new start. There's a clarity on where you want to focus your attention on growing something. But with the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, and then with the Three of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles says we do it better together. There is a sense of collaboration. There is a sense, I think for many of you, there is a realization of a new opportunity coming in. Because the Ace of Pentacles can be getting that new job. It could be getting a little bit of seed money. Maybe you have a savings account and you're like, oh, you know what? I kind of feel like I can see what I can do with that now. It can be where you're given the gift of time. Maybe you've moved into a new situation and you suddenly don't have to work as much as you used to. And you're like, oh, wow, I could do so much with this. But this is saying that there's a sense here of now realizing that there's a vision for what you can do with this opportunity. If you want to start growing it and getting it to the Three of Pentacles level, this is saying that you have to find other people to work with. And there is that sense of, with the Knight of Cups saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm starting to get optimistic about this. I'm starting to get excited about, starting again. There's a sense of being very clear about starting again, or really seeing something in your life as a new opportunity that maybe you didn't see before. This could be like, maybe you moved homes and now you're in a new location, or you have more space in your home and now maybe you can do something with that you never realized you could do. Okay, so we have the Four of Cups. Yeah, we have the Nine of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles could actually be someone in your life. This could represent a Virgo in your life. It could represent a person who tends to have maybe a forward focus that's kind of very detailed, and maybe you're worried or you're a little, because the Nine of Swords speaks to anxiety, fear, worry. But it could also be that maybe for some of you, again, there was a plan in place. There were these action steps, where you might have said, okay, here's the plan. This is the vision. Here are the steps. And now you're not connected to that anymore. This could be like where you made a decision, a choice. You're like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this. I'm going to, I'm gonna choose to take that promotion at work, and I'm gonna just double down, and I'm gonna, go all the way to the top. And you have a plan with your boss about what you're gonna do, and there's a long-term goal and projects, and then it's like, the realization hits and you're like, but I'm just not in it. I'm just not in it. And now you're disconnected, and now you're worried about, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this plan. I want to do something else. And there's a sense here of like with the Seven of Swords trying to avoid that. And so this is a good chance, Taurus, to look at some aspect of your life where you do feel like you're kind of on the outside looking in, and maybe where either a plan is getting in the way of you being able to connect. It's almost like trying to follow. It's like you've given yourself a step by step, and so you're just doing it, but maybe you don't want to do it anymore. So keep that in mind. In any aspect of your life. This could even be, the Knight of Pentacles could be your routine. And every day you take, it could be like, I'm going to save for a house. And so every day, your whole routine, your whole plan was to save X amount in the bank. So every day, every step you took, pinching every penny, and now you're like, but I don't care about money anymore, or now I have so much money in the bank, I don't know what to do with it. There could be a sense of that too, and now you're like, but I don't know how to break the cycle of the path I've been on. There definitely is a sense of that coming through. Okay, so yeah, Ten of Swords is clarifying the Five of Cups. Ten of Swords speaks to a really difficult time in your life. There's a lot of pain involved with the Ten of Swords, but it's also the final card in the 10-card cycle of the swords. And so there's a sense of having to go through that very difficult time in your life, the very painful time, but you get a chance now to close out that cycle. You get to release that cycle, and you start again with the Ace of Swords. And that Ace of Swords is the clarity that came from the cycle you went through. It's the lesson learned. It's the takeaway. It's also the clarity on yourself, what you're capable of and what you can go through and still survive. Let's see if anything else wants to come out with that. So there's a sense here of really getting to that place of release, of maybe realizing how far you've come from that pain. And giving yourself the kudos and kind of allowing it now to finally be put to rest. Let's see if there's any. Okay, well, so we have the Queen of Wands coming out there. Yeah, there's definitely a sense here. I mean, this could actually be around an individual in your life who represents Aries energy. It could be someone who was kind of, a fiery, feisty individual, and there's pain tied up in that. But it can also represent you. This could be where maybe you lost your fire. The Queen of Wands is someone who shows up as she is. She's unapologetic. She's like, here I am, world. Take me or leave me. She's someone who also can bloom where she's planted. She knows that she can, through her own passion and showing up authentically as herself every time, she can bring to her what she wants to experience no matter where she is. There's always a sense with the Queen of Wands that comes in that is like that saying of wherever you are, there you are. Like you can't kind of run from yourself. So we each have the power within that no matter where we find ourselves, we can always manifest the experience we want. And for many of you, I think there was a loss of that due to a really difficult and very painful time in your life, you lost that fire. That fire was put out. And there's a sense, I think, now of being able to regain that. But this is a good chance to really look at where that flame of passion was maybe not extinguished, because it never completely goes out, but where it was diminished or held back, or where you lost touch with it because of something that was very painful to go through. So let's see what's coming for. Yeah, okay. So for the Five of Wands, we have the Five of Pentacles, we have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Four of Cups. Yeah, there's that Four of Cups again. Again, disconnection. I think for many of you, there's a sense here, especially with the Five of Pentacles coming in, of a sense of lack, whether you're lacking time, energy, money. And with the Eight of Wands, I get the feeling more than anything intuitively with all of this, because the Eight of Wands can speak to fast movement. It can speak to a lot of things happening. It can speak to even fast communication. So this can be text messages. This could be getting on a dating app and you're messaging back and forth. This could be social media or emails. But there's a sense here of, I think this is at the heart of why you don't want to get back out there, or why you don't want to put yourself out there, because there's a sense of like, things are going to pick up really fast. I might have to answer a bunch of messages. I might have to put up with things changing at a rate that I might not be ready for. And on the either side of that, we have two cards of lack. We have one that's like, again, here's the Four of Cups, emotionally disconnected, not happy. And then the Five of Pentacles, I don't have enough. I will never have enough. And it can also feel like you're on the outside looking in. It could be like where we feel like we're left out in the cold. And I think for some of you, there's that sense of the opportunity is here. The Eight of Wands can be a flow of energy, of kind of jumping into the flow that's naturally moving forward. It can also be, again, jumping into the mix of, joining some type of online community, something like that. But you're like, if I do that, I'll probably just be the one that, I'll be the one on the outside again. If I do that, they'll probably not like me and I'll get kicked out and I'll be the one left out again. If I do that and I put all this time and energy and I get into the mix, I might lose again. So there's a sense of kind of a self-defeating behavior here. And I think for some of you, there could also be that underlying self-defeating behavior of coming from a perpetual place of lack, of I don't have enough. I don't have enough energy to do this. So you'd be like saying, I want to start a business. And yet you're telling yourself, yeah, but I don't have enough time and energy for that. And so you're kind of coming in with already a sense of like, well, it's just not going to work out. It's like, well, maybe it's time to take a look at maybe rekindling your energy, stepping back into where'd that Queen of Wands go? What do you need to start to look at things from a different perspective, instead of saying it probably won't work out? Like, that is literally what I'm hearing right here with this. It probably isn't going to happen, or it's going to be too much. I mean, this could even be where it's like you want to go on something like X or just social media and start to share things about your life, and you're like, but people probably won't like me. People probably won't listen. People probably will ostracize me for sharing my beliefs or or talking about, this could even be like where you're trying to maybe go on like LinkedIn or a place like that. And it's like, you're trying to tell people like, hey, I really would like to, start a business in this, or, hey, these are my talents. And you start to maybe post things about, what you're good at, and, and you're worried that, hey, I'm going to do that, people are still going to turn their backs on me, or I'm going to, people are going to, it's not going to lead to anything. So why even put the energy there? And yet here for the Wheel of Fortune, we have the 10 of Pentacles. That is a legacy. That is like the ultimate sense of the wealth you want to achieve in the experience. It can also be a legacy of what you want to leave to others. There's a sense of inheritance and passing from one generation to the other. It could also be where there's a sense here, especially with the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups, of choosing the spiritual side to yourself. So how can I say this? The Hierophant can represent a marriage. So for some of you with the Hierophant and the Eight of Cups, this could speak to walking away from a marriage. This could speak to walking away from a commitment, because the Hierophant can speak to our beliefs, what we choose to believe in, what we choose to follow. It can speak to what we choose to commit to as well. It speaks to higher institutions, things like governmental institutions, societal norms. That's why marriage kind of comes in there as well, because it's an institution, religion. But there's a sense here for some of you of either walking away from a belief system, possibly a limiting belief system, or walking away from a version of the self that is not in alignment with who you are now, or with kind of what your own inner guru is showing you the way. Because the Eight of Cups speaks to walking away from something that is no longer emotionally supportive or fulfilling. It could also be, so the 10 of Pentacles over here, this could be where you are possibly choosing to focus on the physical right now and growing something physical, and releasing, and in doing so, realizing it's time to walk away from a belief system that no longer suits the opportunities that are coming in for a true legacy that you want to leave. This can actually be a change in heart. It can also be where maybe for some of you, you're looking to maybe change your focus from being so focused on the material to maybe being more focused on spiritual growth. And anything that doesn't support your spiritual growth is not part of that lasting legacy. So there could definitely be a change of opportunity here. There may be something as well where there's a kind of a refocus on building something in the physical, because the 10 of Pentacles can speak to, home and family, our physical possessions, and it may mean that for some of you, again, you're walking away from a long-term commitment towards a new commitment. Again, that's why the fear of kind of maybe breaking or not following a plan in place. It can also be, though, as well, the Hierophant is Taurian energy. That's you, Taurus, right there. So there could be a sense of maybe walking away from what has happened here towards finding yourself again, your inner faith, your inner confidence. Who are you now? What do you believe in? But it could also be you walking away from someone in your life that maybe represent, or something in your life. This could be like where maybe you're like, wow, looking at where I am now, I told myself that I, have to be married by this age, and I have to have this many kids, and I have to have this much money in the bank, and I have to have the house in the suburbs, whatever it is. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to choose the legacy that I want to achieve. I'm choosing my 10 of Pentacles, and I'm going to walk away from any belief system, or this is almost like walking away from, this is like someone who's like, you know what? Governmental institutions, the man, the system. It's like turning your back on the man and the system and saying, I'm doing it my way. There's definitely a sense here, and there could be an opportunity coming in that allows you to do that finally allows you to turn your back again on anything, any part of a belief system that doesn't work for you now, or that's now getting in the way of a new potential for a new legacy or a new level of wealth. This could even be like starting a new business and you're like, yeah, I know, honey, I told you that I was going to work this 9 to 5 for the next 15 years and we were going to save, but I have this idea and I really want to start it now. And it's because I don't care about my 9 to 5 job and I can't even imagine working 15 more years. It's crazy. I need to focus. I have clarity now. And maybe this is like saying, I've been so scared to tell you this, but the 9 of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, that I've just been hiding it. And I've been getting more and more disconnected, more and more disappointed. And I finally have to realize I have to say something. I have to say something about what I'm just passionate about. I have to say where I feel like I don't have enough support. And suddenly now it's like, okay, here it is. Now, for some of you, this could legitimately be walking away from a relationship or a marriage. So, keep that in mind. And if that's the case, I'm sorry to hear that, but I can tell you from my own personal experience that it can be for the best. It could open you up to a new opportunity to find someone who is more in alignment with yourself. And it can be an opportunity to reconnect with the Queen of Wands within, which is your own inner fire, and really being able to be that fiery, passionate individual that you are. Now, with Temperance coming in as the third underlying energy, this is the energy of moderation, but it's also the energy of doing things differently, bringing two aspects of the self or two aspects of your experience together to alchemize them into something new. This could be like taking a skill set with a new passion and alchemizing them into a new business. This could be taking your emotions and how you choose to take action and bringing them into alignment so that you're not just feeling things and not taking action on that, and you're not just acting without emotionally connecting. It can also speak to just moderation in your life experience. So maybe you were too focused on work, and now it's saying, well, let's bring a work-life balance in. Again, 6 of Pentacles. Let's bring a level of reciprocity. Maybe you felt on the outside looking in for so long because you weren't happy at home, in your home or your love life, but your work life is fine. So now it's time to shift focus, or vice versa. So there's definitely a level of, I always like with Temperance coming in too, it speaks to me of divine timing. It always has kind of that angelic energy. And it does bring in the number 14, which it is the number of freedom through change. So there's a sense of changing something in your experience now to be able to allow your own inner self to be free and to start there is a new opportunity for growth and a new opportunity that involves a new vision for your future legacy. This could be like, or maybe again, like what I was saying, you were so focused on money, and now you're realizing money isn't anything without connecting to people and having community, or money isn't anything without having a family and children, or the reverse. It could be like saying I was so focused on love, and love is great and all, but now I really would love to have that business, or now I really would love to find what I'm passionate about and be able to make money from that. There could be a sense in that as well. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. We're going to pull a final card to see what Taurus needs to know before we wrap up the reading. Fourth ray of harmony, number 6. So there's a level of, again, what we were starting out with here to begin with, which is the 6 of Pentacles, which is that return, that balance, where you feel like everything is harmonious because you're in alignment with the self. Now, the number 6 does speak to the energy of love. It speaks to the energy of building something together with kind of a spiritual intent with others. I often look at this as the energy of what we can build in the physical when we come from the energy of love. It's almost like what can't we build? Let's put it that way. So let's see here. I'm going to read the little excerpt that comes from the book, or comes with the book. here. So it says fourth ray of harmony. The fourth ray of harmony comes to you now with the qualities of beauty, harmony, and balance. It empowers you to complete a spiritual initiation. Any conflict you experience now serves your divine purpose. It will eventually become the fuel you need to be born anew. Something negative will be transformed into something positive. The Archangel Gabriel helps you receive the blessing of the fourth ray of harmony now. Now, this definitely can be, I'm just going to say this, I'm looking at this seems to be something coming up from my past. I am a sun sign Taurus. I do have a Mars placement in Taurus as well, so I work a lot with Taurian energy. But I can say that this is very much the feeling of the sense I had before I had to leave my ex, and I did go through a divorce. And I can say that, yes, definitely, I had to communicate about what I was feeling, a lack of disconnection, feeling like I wasn't supported. There was a lack of money in my experience. There was a lot of time and energy going out and not a lot of return on my investment, both emotionally and physically. Now, when I finally had to walk away from that marriage, I can tell you, yes, it was difficult, but wow, it transformed my life for the better. I was able to reconnect with my passions. I was able to reconnect with a vision for my future self. And I was able to open up a whole new life experience for myself that would not have been if I had not been courageous enough to kind of move through the conflict that was happening at that time. Okay, so I'll continue. It says, when the fourth ray of harmony is active in your life, you are approaching spiritual initiation, which creates a whole new person, a new you. Initiation may begin with feeling torn between two choices or realities. And yeah, that's definitely the Two of Wands right here. Two choices, two realities. Do I stay or do I go? It says, you may wonder if you have what it takes to get through this. You do. As you discover your strength to be patient with the process rather than trying to force an outcome prematurely, eventually you will outgrow the conflict altogether, emerging as a wiser, more powerful you. You will have gained a positive outcome from what was once considered to be a negative situation. When the fourth ray of harmony becomes stronger in your soul, avoid becoming scattered, out of balance, or swinging from one extreme to the other in thoughts, actions, and emotions. And that's really the Temperance card coming through here. It's balance, it's moderation, it's harmony in all things. You will need to keep grounding yourself in being moderate rather than all or nothing in your life choices. This will create your successful outcome more swiftly than trying to force something to happen immediately. The challenge and the gift with the fourth ray of harmony is the increased sensitivity to beauty it engenders. Music takes on a whole new emotional depth. The beauty or chaos in your environment, and even the colors you wear, has more impact on you than usual. You can use this increased sensitivity to your advantage by choosing art, music, colors, and so on that feel good for you. The mainstream is still operating in a fear-based energy. With increased sensitivity, you can at times be more affected by this. If you are experiencing increased negativity, depression, doubt, fear, or emotional instability, this is likely why. You can overcome this without shutting down. When you sense it happening, respond with a loving discipline. You might meditate, journal, dance, create art, listen to music, exercise, have a bath, or spend time in nature to bring yourself back to balance. This ray has a special connection to the arts and guides you to create. Oh, excuse me, guys. A yawn. I often yawn sometimes when I channel, so it's interesting. That came through. Okay, so it says, you are encouraged to trust your own creativity, to enjoy it, and use it to help heal yourself and others too. When Archangel Gabriel enters your life, there will be an emphasis on the use of sound for healing and balance. So the words you use, affirmations for example, and the invocations in this deck will be very powerful. So will music. You may use sound to help balance and restore your energy. You'll know when it has worked because you will feel happier and find life simpler. You may not immediately solve an issue, but start doing what you need to take care of yourself, knowing resolution is on its way. And I can also attest to this as well, that I know when I was going through my very difficult period, I did listen to music that was highly inspirational for myself. And it was a mood enhancement. It allowed me to help moderate the deep lows with, and even when I was feeling very excited and high, I sometimes would counterbalance that with music that brought me down into my emotional depths. So I wouldn't recommend always using music in that way, because we do need to kind of feel what we're feeling in the moment. We don't always want to just, kind of gloss over what we're feeling or try to reverse it. But there's a sense of when we go through this kind of initiation into the new us, or into a new opportunity for ourselves, there is that sense of really needing to feel both sides of things, the extreme lows and the extreme highs, and enjoying that time of self-discovery and connection. And music is definitely a great way to do that. I know myself personally, I work a lot with listening to different frequencies. I have taken a sound healing course. But I do just in my meditations, and I have done this for many years, over a decade now, where I will listen to binaural beats and different frequencies when I meditate, and I can tell you that they definitely do have a healing component to them. They have helped my meditation cycles to be very, I think, far more productive. And they have opened me up to areas in my, I would say, chakra system as well, that really were kind of out of balance. So you can definitely listen to different frequencies in that way as well, to really, if you're maybe focusing on your sacral chakra and creativity, or your working through fears with your root chakra, or opening your heart, or your third eye, or speaking more clearly. There's wonderful ways of being able to work with different frequencies. If for anybody who's interested, you can always feel free to message me here if you have any questions as to what frequency is good for what, and I can kind of walk you through that. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, Taurus. If you'd like to book your own reading, or you can take a look at what your soul would most like to illuminate for you at this time, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next soul illumination reading. Bye, Taurus.